Um, let's talk also about the different markets. European, you have several countries actually, and in most countries you have a decent solar market. So of course there are some strongly dominating market like Germany, Spain, Italy, and the big ones, the mature ones. But usually, I think it's rather the markets in Central Europe actually, or who then also look at these aesthetic things, while the emerging markets maybe are looking still at lower cost products, or is that different? So is it a correct assumption that you would say, okay, it's rather the Netherlands, Benelux as a whole, and Germany, Switzerland maybe, which would focus on BC, while the other markets are still on using other technologies, or is there no difference anymore?
Actually, nowadays, if we say the Europe, the difference is not that kind of big, but the people's preference also has several different things. For example, like in DACH region, they really like the small size modules. I mean, the 54 cells modules. They like all black modules. They like beautiful one, right? Like in East Europe, like in Romania, Bulgaria, Ukraine. So they only focusing on big panels.
Okay.
So it's a kind of sectors for the main power supply. In DACH region, a lot of, for example, in CNI or especially for residential market, mostly they treat the solar roof as the energy backup supply plus like a TV or fridge aisles and cell phones, this kind of consuming product. So they have different logic. So that's why they choose a different type of panels. But if you see globally, we will see nowadays it's the era similar like before we have poly, from poly to mono, from mono to PERC, from PERC to TOPCon. Now it's the arrow from TOPCon to BC. So if you ask me about this kind of shifting, it's everywhere. If you see our sales inside of LONGi, actually, also I told the media before, LONGi is also before we are one of the largest TOPCon supplier, but we never promote it because we know it's only period. So nowadays, if you see our BC sales compared to our own TOPCon sales, in Europe, our BC sales is already take more than 90%. In other regions, it's also, in China, it's also 80%. So our BC sales already take most of our sales inside of LONGi. Yeah.
So, and when you look at Europe, how do you have a big market share in Europe anyway,
Yep.
You're established there for a long, long time. And if you look at the distributed segments, so how do you try to further develop the market?
I think LONGi now, as far as I see, because I have been in the industry for 17 years, as far as I see now, LONGi is the only one now keep a deep thought about that. I mean, the relationship between the supplier and the players in the market. As I told you for the premier question, we think the business of solar now becoming mature. It's not like before, it's high growth. You know, before it's a very high growth, so the relationship between customers becoming, you have stock? Yeah, come in. So can you sell it cheaper? Yes, come in, right? Because the market anyway is very big, so you can sell anything. It's keep on increasing 30%, 40% every year. But nowadays, in the past 2-3 years, the European market, Chinese markets, they're becoming much more mature. It's becoming an existing market. I mean, it will be keeping in a certain level, even decrease. So under that circumstance, the relationship, I mean, the sending through, sending out, becoming much, much more important than before. Because before, when it's a high growth market, you only need to do sending in. So LONGi keep very, very deep think about it. Nowadays, we can concentrate it to one word. More is less, less is more. So we will keep limited partners as our aligned partners, and we keep them in a reasonable profit trend. And also, we want to keep the ecosystem much more healthy than before. You know what happened in the last 2 years? It's like you jump, I jump.
Yeah.
So LONGi will be the pioneer to killing that kind of philosophy.